Hello everyone, thanks for coming today. It's a great turnout. It's great to see all your faces out there. So I'm going to quickly explain what this village development program is. And personally I'm very excited because it's unique from what I know that the community starts with this learning platform. And it's a passion in my heart that what I love to do is go out in communities and educate and learn. You know, there's 40 years of wisdom around the world in intentional communities, what's worked, what hasn't. And there's no such thing as a perfect community. There's definitely a lot of lessons out there, and people have done, you know, you think you might be the unique first one, but I'm sure somewhere in the world someone's tried that as well. So I'm excited because this community is starting from this platform of let's learn from the wisdom of the elders and what's gone before. And we can go on from that. So I'm really excited about this platform and approach to starting this community. So the village approach with the BDP, or shortened to BDP, we've just decided it's going to be 10 days or 5 weekends over the next, say, 14 months. And we've done this sort of a 3-month separation, so it's available to people that work full-time or are busy or are out of the country for a period of time. It means you can still be engaged in the program, and that's why I've spaced it out over this time. I've also spaced it out over this time so it's in perfect timing with the planning process. So by the end of the BDP, we're hoping we have some really good outcomes in the planning process, so it aligns with that. There's also an invite to people that participate in the BDP to seasonal field days, and the first one will be in September, so quite soon. As a walk on the land, as a sort of introduction, I guess. So, you know, to feel where this is going to be happening. So the workshops are inspired by what I was taught in Fintorn, but it's also taught in 32 different countries around the world, which is the Eco-Village Design Education Program. And that is a program where all the founders of a lot of communities came together in the 90s and said, what's made our community work? And together they put a curriculum, a guide, if you want to call it, or tool for communities embarking on this journey, and in an educational platform, which is usually taught over a month, pretty intensely. So this, of course, is not going to be that certificate because we haven't got, I'm sure all of you, it would be very hard for you to take a month out of your life and go intensely into this. So we're going to get a little brief taste of, I guess, what this course offers, but it's inspired by this course. And it's a first step. This is the first step of delving into the story of Brunswick Eco-Village. And it costs about $1,000, or just $1,000. And that's roughly about $100 a day, and that's going to cover facilitation because it's not just me, it's going to be a group of facilitators, guest speaker, venue, a whole lot of costs involved, so $1,000 covers those costs. It's currently going to be coordinated by myself, but as I said, there's going to be a group facilitating this with, I'm going to be calling in experts and the elders, if you want to call it, of these different topics in each weekend to sort of lead off this weekend and where we explore. So yeah, my role, I guess, is to people that engage with the BDP is to make sure your story becomes part of the Brunswick Eco-Village story, and we weave our way on this journey together, and I'll explain a lot of the things that's going to happen in this. So why are we doing this? Why are we starting this platform? And one of the main reasons we're doing this is, at the moment, we don't have a community. So this is a beautiful, perfect way to start this community forming process. And it's one of the main goals of the BDP. And it's a way to sort of feel out, is this right for me? You know, so we're not asking for people to put their money down and then all of a sudden, oh, actually, this wasn't right for me. It's a really beautiful way to feel out, is this community right for me? And it allows also the future residents to have input into the design and creation of the community. So we'll be doing a lot of work around the design of clusters, as Kelvin was talking, and and the actual old village itself. And it also shows this initial commitment. I am committed to this journey of this eco-village and community through this process of these 5 weekends. And it's starting to foster this culture, I guess, of curiosity in the community. We're starting a culture of the community. And so to start off in this learning environment, I think, is a really beautiful way to start this culture of what this community will be. And it also is a great educational tool. So future residents go into this community educated. As I said, we can't go over the full month intensive, but we can go over some basic tools that are really needed to all live together. And so people will move into the community with some awareness of what some of these tools will be. And of course, it allows also the people to see who else is going to be living there and get to know them before moving on. So, and it breaks down that kind of, we deliver you an eco-village, and it's like the us and them. It's like people that come part of the VDP, they're now part of this journey of creating this community. So there's no us and them. So I went over it briefly, but there'll be 5 workshops, and these workshops will be structured around, starting with a guest speaker. We've got the first one secured, John Talbot, who's an amazing mentor in the eco-village world. He helped found the Eco-Village Network and designed Findhorn and also Narara Eco-Village in Sydney. So he'll be guest speaker of the first workshop. And then we're going to, the first weekend is a very crucial weekend in one way where we start forming groups. And we'll be going into groups and doing a lot of group work. I can't really work with 120 people at one go in group work, so we'll be working in smaller groups. So we'll be coming together, going off, and that's the way the flow of the weekends will roll. And of course there'll be field days, which are going to be less formal. That'll be more like getting to know each other more, walking the land, and that will be based on the land. So what are we hoping to achieve, I guess, in the VDP? As I said, we're trying to have a multi-pronged, I guess, approach to this, and the 3 main things are the personal education and some of the tools required to live together. So we're going to be looking at the different themes, and they're based on that curriculum I was talking about. The second aspect will be the design element, so that's going to be about designing your cluster, who you're living with, what the clusters might be designed like, and where they fit into the greater eco-village and some of the other design features of the eco-village. Sorry, it's 4-pronged. The third will be the information for the town planning. So even though the DA process will be already in play by then, we can still input into that process as the VDP goes along. And a fourth, of course, is the community creation, getting to know each other, starting that culture of the community. So, why do the VDP now? I mean, people might be asking like, oh, maybe I'll wait 5 years. I can tell you now that this is the perfect time to do it, because there won't be any other VDP like this. This will be the only one of its kind. Because firstly, you get to choose what cluster you want to live in and who you want to live with in that cluster. Future residents won't have that opportunity. So this is a beautiful way that you can start forming your cluster, start getting to know each other, and move forward and help create and design that cluster. Once it's built, it's built. So if you join now, it means that you have an input into that. You also have input into house designs. We're looking at different ways that might work, but throughout this year, as I said, you're part of this journey, so you'll be fed all this stuff, and we can talk and educate and help design around some of these different aspects. And you also get to contribute to the greater vision of what this community is. I guess because you're part of the journey, you're now part of, I guess, the Bronze Eco-Village. So any opportunities that arise, anything that happens in the Eco-Village, the people part of the VDP were the first to know of it. And so, throughout those 5 weekends, we'll also be in contact electronically. There will be, information specifically for people in the VDP. and hopefully that culture can continue outside of those weekends as well. You'll pay the cheapest amount of bond that we're offering, because who knows, in the future we're hoping it will stay at that level, but the co-op, eventually it's being handed over to the co-op, so whatever the co-op decides in the future, the co-op goes with. So at this point we're offering a fixed price for the bond. However, there's ability in the future for the co-op, if they want to raise that bond. And you also have 2 years to get to know, 18 months to get to know this community. And you also would have that uncertainty of being on a waiting list. Once it's built, there may be a waiting list of people wanting to move in, but if you've been part of this initial process, you'll be already, I guess, in that process. So you won't have to really wait for years, I guess, to move in. And you'll also be a pioneer. So this is one thing I'm very passionate about. By you joining the BDP, you're joining us on this journey of this new process. So you'll be a pioneer and social activist in one way, being part of this amazing eco-village. And so we're saying the cut-off date for the payment of this BDP is at the end of the month. And there is a loan option available, I think, through the community centre if people are struggling with that $1,000. I'll quickly go into village design. However, Kelvin explained the clusters, I think, fairly well. And the cluster concept is a really amazing concept in the community. With 130 houses, it's sometimes hard to feel that sense of community. However, with a cluster, that'll be your initial community in one way, and a larger community of the eco-village. So the cluster, I guess I'll stress that the clusters are a very important aspect of this proposal we're putting forth, and who will be in those. And the BDP will really explore what is the values of your cluster. And hopefully we have 10 very unique clusters in the eco-village to create that diversity and excitement in the village. And I'll quickly touch on, we aren't speaking much about this today, but we are definitely following this ecological environmental village as well. And some of these things were talked about in terms of protecting the native vegetation, enhancing it where we can, treating all our waste on site, protecting the waterways. Basically, we are going to be good custodians of the land, and we want to engage best practices wherever possible in all these activities. So this presentation will be available also, so if you want to look at more detail. And that's it for me.